Hi. Today I'm going to talk about the subject of grief. From my heart, a sincere thank you for all of the condolences that I've received over the past week. A week ago, one of my cats passed away very suddenly and unexpected. He was only 5 and the love of my little life. I have another one that you'll probably hear in just a moment, but it sparked a thought about grief because a pet, a lot of people have gone, well, it's a cat, just get over it. But we love what we love, and we still have to go through the grieving process in order to remap our model of the world. There's a presupposition in NLP that says the map is not the territory. So the territory, that's the space of our lives that we think is reality. And the map that we hold for that isn't necessarily what the truth is. So grief is an interesting concept. It's an interesting emotion that's very, very useful to remap our model of the world. So Honey was my cat, and lovely boy he was. And 2 weeks ago, I had 2 cats. And a week later, I have just one that's gone running up the stairs. And my grief, like probably any grief, if it's the loss of a loved one, a pet, a relative, a friend, a job, a home, anything, we have to have that moment to let ourselves just be. And regardless of what other people think, regardless if it's a person, an animal, a job, money, time, for us to allow ourselves our own ability to grieve is such an important thing. And for me, I know it comes in waves. And I'm so thankful that I had the last week with him to be able to say my goodbyes. I can't even imagine what my level of grief and the waves, how quickly they would come if it was a sudden loss like many of you had of loved ones and pets and anything else. But to be able to sit, to be able to be authentic with that level of grief that we're having, to allow it to come and not push it away, because so many times I think that people think, especially with something like a pet, that they aren't allowed to grieve, or they need to be over it, or it can only be at certain times. And I think that's where my NLP skills come in handy, is that there are times that I need to manage my state and manage the emotions that I'm having. Because if I'm working with clients or if I'm training, I need to be able to be in a space that's more productive or more resourceful than in those times that the waves do come. But even when those waves come and it's not an opportune time, being able to hold the space for myself is important. And as they say, this too shall pass. And my life is being remapped without Honey in it. And my life is being remapped with memories and a very special place in my heart that he will always, always live. And to be able to allow myself that time, even talking about it now and getting a bit emotional about it, even having that space that it's okay. And if you have a friend or a family member or anyone or yourself who goes through grief, hold that space for them. Because we can't just wake up one day and flip a switch and say that person or that job or that pet or that loved one is no longer there. We have to take time. And I know that I've gotten calls from clients or potential clients that say, can you help me speed up grief? And I don't know that there is that possibility. I know that there's a time when grief has run its course, and then NLP can really help to speed things up once it's run its course. But the purpose of it really is to let you hold that space, let yourself grieve, let yourself remap, or to hold that space for somebody else, to give them permission to grieve, to give them permission to be. So again, I thank you anyone who has reached out and shared their condolences with me. He was a little boy cat that grew up on Facebook, so he had so many family and friends and followers around. He often came to work in his early days, and so he hung out in some of our NLP trainings, and he was a pleasure, and he will always be there in my heart. And thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you and authentic with you today, and to share that space. And if you're going through any type of grief, then Godspeed, and allow yourself that time and space to heal. I'll see you next time.